So in this video, you will be watching me debunking the biggest tarot myths, outright lies, the biggest lies about tarot. In this video, I want to clear it all out. So I decided not to prepare any scripts for this. I don't have any guidelines on what I would be discussing. More on gusto ko mas flow lang itong video natin. I'm just gonna be sharing from my heart, okay? So, the first tarot myth that I want to debunk, and this is the most famous myth, the most famous lie about the tarot, is that the tarot is a tool just for fortune telling. Right? The tarot is a tool, just a tool to look into the future. I've heard this 1,000 times, and at one point in my life, I also thought na yung tarot or yung tarot cards is just to read the future. Kala ko yun lang yung paggamit sa tarot card. But what I want you to understand is that fortune telling or reading the future through tarot cards is really just one out of so many things that you can do with the tarot, okay? So, hindi lang pang fortune telling yung tarot cards. Alam nyo ba that there are some people who actually uses cards for their spell work? So, I have friends who are either witches or ceremonial magicians, and a lot of them, have told me stories of how powerful, their rituals have become ever since that they've started integrating or using tarot in their rituals. And this practice is not new by any means. This has, been one of the core practices of the tarot ever since that it became a tool of divination, back in the 17 or 1800s. So it's not a secret that the tarot can be used for rituals, for divination or communicating with spirits or having spirits do something for you. It's not a secret. But I feel like the problem is that the way tarot has been depicted for so long, through Hollywood, through media, through the mainstream, I feel like we have been underrepresented for a long time, which had led to this collective perspective or collective perception na kaming mga tarot readers, lahat kami ay manghuhula. That is just really not true. As a tarot reader, kasi I consider myself more to be an introspective tarot reader. So I always say in the start of the readings, while I love reading the future, I enjoy more reading the present because the future is not set in stone. Which leads me to a sub-point of this point, which is no tarot reading is ever set in stone. Okay, so that is myth number 2. Most people think that when you get a tarot reading, whatever comes out, whatever shit, comes out from the tarot reader's mouth, if they're not as good as you need them to be, ang daming tao natatakot. A lot of people get scared. A lot of people get traumatized with tarot readings for the simple fact that some readers are not really equipped to provide an uplifting, empowering reading, which totally defeats the purpose of using the tarot for guidance. So, most people think kasi kapag binasahan ka, yun na lang yung mangyayari. That's it. Period. Set in stone. Ilak ng susi, iba to yung susi, wala na. Wala ka nang magagawa. Now, that is false, alright? That is not true one bit. And siguro to help you understand this concept much easier, I will be echoing some of the teachings of Bashar, which is a multidimensional being channeled by Daryl Anka. Okay? And he says that we, as human beings, are limited in the physical. But there is a part within each human being that is not of the physical, that is of the spirit, that is of the heavens. And that part of us transcends space and time. So ang ibig sabihin nun, yung spirit natin, hindi siya boxed. It's not limited by the passage of linear time, which is from past, present, and future. And another way to understand that is everything, everywhere, is happening right here, right now. And in quantum physics, we do have the concepts of parallel realities. And to make it siguro much easier or simpler to understand, is that the reason why the future can never be set in stone is because for every decision that we make, we create an alternate timeline. Like how right now you are tuned to the timeline in which you are watching this video, but there is another version of you somewhere in the multiverse that's probably has never come across this video at all. So for every action that we make, we have the power to change our future. We have the power to write our destiny. So if your tarot reader tells you na, oh, ito yung mangyayari sa buhay mo, kabit ka and magiging kabit ka in the future, period. Tarot lie number 3. You need to be a psychic to read the tarot. Alright, so this is one of the biggest that I've heard. And sad to say, I almost fell for it. Let me tell you a story. When I first encountered the tarot or intuitive readings, I was not really quick, to start reading. Hindi ako agad-agad naging tarot reader. I first started as someone who was constantly getting readings from my friends who knew how to read the tarot or who knew how to read oracle cards. And during that time, ito rin yung time na nahatak ako dun sa twin flame journey. And it made me, well, not really made me, but my first main exposure or my first major exposure sa tarot was when I started endlessly watching pick a card tarot readings for the whole duration of the pandemic. So imagine, like, I could watch for 9 hours straight different pick a card readings, and unconsciously what I was actually doing was I actually started to learn reading tarot just because of how much pick a card readings that I was watching nung pandemic. But there was still this part of me na hindi confident, na hindi pa fully convinced that I can also do this for other people. And it wasn't until the time that someone finally gave me a tarot deck and an oracle deck that I actually started to give myself the permission to start learning how to read. And which leads me to the big lie about tarot number 4, which is you cannot buy your own deck. Okay? This one almost got me. I remember nung time na yun, when I started becoming fascinated with pick-a-card readings on YouTube during the start of the pandemic, I remember that I really wanted to start learning how to read tarot. Pero there were certain reasons that I give myself, such as, this is exactly how I remember this. Number 1, kailangan may magbigay muna sa akin ng tarot deck before I start reading the tarot. And I kind of felt like it was sort of like a spiritual thing that needs to happen, like a spiritual miracle or a spiritual encounter that needs to happen. Tingin ko baka may mga butterfly lumabas kapag binigyan na ako ng deck. But you know what? When I got the deck, it felt ordinary. It didn't really feel anything. I was just really grateful that my friend gave me a tarot deck, and finally, personally, I'm able to finally say, okay, Gabe, let's start reading. But marami pa kasi akong mga myths sa utak ko, sa the mga ideas ko about the tarot that really inhibited me from learning the tarot agad-agad. That's why I had to take a long time before I started, learning it for myself and for other people. So during that time, I was really convinced na I had to be given a deck of cards, a deck of the tarot, before I started reading or learning how to read tarot. In my very imaginative mind, feeling ko kailangan parang bigyan ako ng permission ng spirito ng tarot, na kailangan mapili ako. I feel like this myth also satisfies the ego in some sense, na parang, pag binigyan tayo na, it's like as if we have this underlying idea that when we wait for the tarot to be given to us, it's like we are being chosen, and we like to feel like we're being chosen. That's the ego's preference. So, I, for a time, waited for that time, na bibigyan ako ng tarot cards. But again, after that, hindi pa rin ako nag-start mag-tarot reading. I had another reason that I used as an excuse not to start reading the tarot. And the next excuse, which is tarot myth number 5, only women can read tarot. Okay, so medyo matagal akong naniwala dito. And I feel like the depiction of Hollywood and the movies about tarot, I feel like nakapag-contribute to unconsciously sa akin why I believe that the tarot is only meant to be utilized by women. This became a reason that I used for quite a while, before na-dissolve ito. I don't know, maybe it was because I had an unconscious belief na mas intuitive yung women. Maybe I unconsciously was subscribing to a belief system that men cannot be witches or men are not built for magic. Okay? So I feel like doon yung mindset ko dati. And even when I had the cards, it took me still a long time, siguro a year more, before kinalabog na ako ng consciousness ng tarot, for me to, hey Gabe, stop it with this shit and just start learning how to read, because you, my friend, are gonna change lives. Honestly, if I were to go back 5 years from now, I don't think I would have seen myself, becoming a professional tarot consultant. Naalala ko pa yon nung again, back in 2019, I was starting to become exposed to yung concepts of starseeds, concepts of healing, shadow work, and my past life regression therapist before, nung hindi pa ako past life regressionist myself, I used to have sessions with someone who recommended me a tarot reader kasi I was very interested to have a tarot reading. But my first actual reading, this is somehow like a very heartfelt story that I always tell when opportunity arises. But my first ever tarot reading happened during the night of my 20th birthday nung nasa Hong Kong ako with my family. And honestly, it didn't make sense. But nonetheless, I felt very excited, as if I walked in through a door of possibilities with that reading. But, now looking back. Myth number 6. The tarot is demonic. Okay, so we've heard this a lot of times. But let me clarify this. So while the tarot deck has a devil card, the tarot itself is not demonic. So when you actually begin to understand the tarot beyond yung usual interpretation sa tarot na, pang fortune telling to, or pang hula-hula ito, you'll begin to understand that the tarot is actually a map. And the landscape that the tarot provides you is the landscape of your own inner world. And let's be real, if the tarot exists to help us map out human consciousness, divine consciousness, or consciousness, period, we have to be very honest with ourselves. The reason why there is a devil card in the tarot is because there is evil within each and every person on this planet. There is both good and there is both evil. This is a world of duality. You cannot tell me, Gabe, ang evil, I'm a good person. There is no devil inside of me. Yes, I believe you. There is no actual devil inside of you. But what I'm trying to say is that within each and every person, we have the capacity for evil. Like the yin-yang. Alam mo yung yin-yang? It's like two fishes swimming around each other, and the black fish has a small white dot and the white fish has a small black dot. And this is basically the ancients' way of letting us know that one of the most powerful wisdom of the universe is that this universe is both good and bad. This is a world of duality. For in every bit of bad, there is a bit of good. And in every bit of good, there is a bit of bad. While the devil might tempt you to jump into conclusions I actually want you to take a moment and just observe, like, how can this cute card be demonic? Basically, the devil card is the card in the tarot that we can use to look into the aspects of our being that we don't like, yung hindi natin gusto, yung hindi natin prefer. This represents the part of us that we try to deny, that we try to avoid, and we try to just leave it somewhere unseen. That is the energy of the devil. It is our attachments to the world. It is our attachments to situations that does not benefit us. It is the toxic poison within each and every human being. But on the upside, the tarot also gives us insights to one of the fundamental laws of the universe, which is correspondence. For the very reason that the tarot works is that through the principle or the mechanism of correspondence, we are able to look into what's going on up there by observing what's going on down here. By understanding what goes on in the card outside of us, we understand possibly what could be going within each of us. Now, the last myth that I want to debunk, myth number 7, is that the intuition is a gift. All right, so this is very funny because I see that there's still a lot of people believing this. Usually in the form of my clients who are giving me feedback of amazement after our session. Laging sinasabi sa akin, like kong naririnig, Gabe, thank you for sharing your gift with me. Gabe, grabe yung gift mo. Gabe, you have a gift. While, I am very grateful for the appreciation, for the things that I'm able to do, I also want you to know that what I have is not a gift. It's not a gift. What I have, or what most people would call the intuition, is actually our birthright. It's not something to acquire. It's something that we already have. And when I started learning how to read the tarot, when I started officially, finally said to myself, okay, Gabe, let's learn the tarot. Let's finally fucking do this. It wasn't until my intuition had a phase where it became very overactive and I started to see tarot cards above people's heads in the form of mental holograms. I could see them in my mind's eye, and nakaka-frustrate yun before because I would see them but I don't know what it meant. I don't know what the images or the cards that I'm seeing above people's heads, I didn't know what they're trying to say. So I had to constantly go on Google. Hahanapin ko pa yung mga tarot interpretations. I see Two of Swords. I think that's the first card that I saw from a friend who was going through some problems that time. But I saw the Two of Swords. I didn't really know what that card was. I just had to look at the catalog for the tarot cards. Nung nakita ko, parang ito yun, I looked it up, Two of Swords, and then I read the interpretation and it made sense to my friend. Okay. So, I started having glimpses of the power of my intuition, but I was not really exercising my intuition when I was just reading from Google. So it eventually led me to this desire to finally want to learn how to read tarot. And while the story of how I got into tarot might sound, ooh, that's so mystical, Gabe. The thing is, our intuition has its own special, unique ways to communicate with us. And I guess that's just how my intuition thought na it could get my attention. But there might be other ways that your intuition is trying to awaken itself through your experiences. And when you want to learn how to read tarot intuitively, the only thing you need to learn is trust. How to trust this uncomfortable feeling, this uncomfortable gut feeling that for a lot of people have never learned how to trust in their lives. So that's the difficult part, is that you're literally training yourself to use a mechanism that you have either not really learned how to use or were never taught how to use to begin with. So I want to break this idea that, that the intuition is a gift. It's not. It is a birthright. If you are alive right now, if you have a mind, if you have the capacity to think and to withhold thinking, then you have the capacity to, utilize the power of the intuition to help you in your soul's journey, in your practical life, in your spiritual evolution. Now, there's so much more myths and outright lies about the tarot that I want to go through, but I think that's enough for this video. And if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on my social media for you to become updated with every video, with everything that I release online. And if you feel that by sharing this video to a friend, you could also help them on their journey, please feel free to share and circulate this video to anyone and everyone who might need this. Because, if I never was exposed to the idea that everyone can read the tarot, everyone has the power of the intuition to use the tarot or to use your intuition for your greatest benefit. If I never encountered ideas that broke my perspective on certain things, I might not be where I am right now. So please do a friend a favor and send this to anyone you feel might benefit from watching this video. So I guess that's it for this video. My name is Gabriel Thoth, and I will see you in the next.